A true story. In the heart of Upper Egypt, where the sun weaves its golden threads over the reed fields and life flows to a calm, steady rhythm, lies a small village called Esbet Shams el-Din, located in the Bani Mazar district of Minya Governorate. In this village, the days were similar and the nights passed peacefully, until dawn arrived on December 29, 2005. It was a dawn unlike any other. It brought with it a bitter cold and a terror the village had never witnessed before, writing a bloody chapter in the history of Egyptian crime, a mystery whose echoes still reverberate to this day. Before the first rays of dawn began to creep into the village sky, Abu Bakr Abu Majid, a simple baker, left his house heading to the mosque to perform the dawn prayer as he did every day. The air was cold and silence pervaded everything. On his way, he decided to stop by the home of his younger brother Taha, a young lawyer, to wake him up so they could pray together. Abu Bakr knocked on the door once, twice, 3 times. No answer. His heart began to pound and a strange sense of dread crept into his soul. Why wasn't Taha answering? Anxiety drove him to storm the house. What he saw inside was a scene enough to freeze his blood. His brother Taha and his mother were lying on the floor in a pool of blood. Their heads had been brutally smashed, their throats slit from vein to vein. Most horrifying of all, his brother's body had been mutilated in a horrific ritualistic manner. Abu Bakr let out a deafening scream that pierced the stillness of dawn. His scream woke the sleeping neighbors and heralded the beginning of a long, never-ending nightmare. Within minutes, Taha's house was transformed into a crime scene, teeming with terrified neighbors and police officers. But the shock wasn't over. As the news spread through the village like wildfire, other chapters of the massacre unfolded. Taha's house wasn't the only one visited by death that night. Residents discovered that the home of teacher Ahmed Abu Bakr had witnessed the same tragedy. The teacher, his wife, and his 2 young children were found slaughtered and mutilated in the same manner. Then a third house, a third family, brought the death toll to 10. 3 men, 3 women, and 4 children were all murdered in their deep sleep without leaving behind a single cry for help. The village was in a state of shock and bewilderment. How could such a massacre have occurred? There was no sign of robbery or break-in. The doors were locked and the victims were killed in their beds. The brutal and ritualistic method of killing, particularly the mutilation of the male victims' genitals, sparked a wave of frightening rumors. Some whispered that the crime was a sacrifice to jinn to unlock an ancient pharaonic tomb believed to lie beneath the village. After 5 days of horror and mystery, security forces announced the arrest of the accused, a 27-year-old local man named Mohammed Ahmed Abdel Latif. Police said Mohammed confessed to the entire massacre and led them to the location where he had hidden the machete and knife he used, as well as the severed organs he had kept. It seemed the mystery had been solved and justice was on its way. But the truth was stranger than any imagination. When Mohammed Abdel Latif's trial began, the case seemed clear. Detailed confessions and physical evidence were presented by the police. But this picture quickly began to crumble piece by piece under the hammer of the defense, led by the late lawyer Talat Sadat. The first bombshell was the shoe evidence. The police presented a shoe found at one of the crime scenes as conclusive evidence. But in a dramatic courtroom scene, an expert called in by the defense proved that the shoe was a size 42, while the defendant, Mohammed's foot, was a size 45, making it impossible for the shoe to belong to him. Then came the contradictory medical reports. An official psychiatric report confirmed that Mohammed was mentally sound and responsible for his actions, which allowed him to stand trial. But another report from Ain Shams University and the lawyer's defense confirmed the impossibility of a person with his limited mental and physical capabilities carrying out such a complex and brutal crime. The logical question posed by the defense, which convinced the court, was how could one man sneak into 3 homes, kill 10 people, including powerful men, and mutilate their bodies, all in less than 3 hours in complete silence without causing a stir or being heard by any of the neighbors? Faced with these glaring contradictions and the absence of any real physical evidence linking Muhammad to the crime, the Minya Criminal Court issued its historic ruling, acquitting Muhammad Abdel Latif of all charges against him. Muhammad was released from prison as a free man, but he lived the rest of his life as a prisoner in his village, ostracized and subject to suspicion, a ghost haunted by the crime for which he was accused. The truth remained elusive. If Muhammad wasn't the killer, then who was? Who was the hidden butcher who roamed the streets of Esbet Shams el-Din on that cold night, bringing death and mutilation with him? Was it a single individual possessing demonic strength and agility? Or was it an organized group that executed its crime with terrifying precision? Was the motive madness, black magic, or an ancient unknown vendetta? After all these years, these questions still linger, unanswered. The Bani Mazar massacre remains an open wound in Egypt's memory, a true horror story involving 10 innocent victims and an unknown serial killer who remains at large, perhaps among us. So the curtain was drawn on the case with an acquittal, but the truth was not revealed. Muhammad Abdel Latif was released from prison as a freed man, but questions continue to haunt him and us all. Who was the hidden serial killer who possessed such power and brutality to carry out a massacre of this magnitude and with such calm? Was his motive the treasures and antiquities, or was he simply a bloody madness without explanation? To this day, the ghosts of Shams el-Din estate continue to whisper these questions, awaiting absent justice and a buried truth. What is your theory, and who do you believe is the real perpetrator? Share your opinions with us in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to follow more stories and mysterious cases.